Okay, we're on. Hi.
Going on?
How's it going?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Okay, welcome everybody. We have a brand new show. We're so excited.
We got picked back up.
I think I'm more excited than everybody else. Greg and I used to do those red couch conversations, and now we're in the virtual world doing
Yeah.
these conversations. So we have a new show.
They
It's
can't
called
hold us
Eggs for.
down.
They can't. We're just gonna do it anyway. It's called Eggs for Breakfast because we love eggs.
Who doesn't?
Right, and it's all about like eating. We love food. We want to talk about why we love food, why it's so important to, you know um well, we want to demystify a lot of things on nutrition, and that's one thing we're going to talk about in this show. But we're also going to talk all things training, health, lifestyle, mindset, all that stuff, because you can't dissociate all these things. They're all part of one thing. They're all part of our health and our results and how we feel. So welcome. If you're watching, we're excited. This is our first episode. Woo, number one. And so Gregory Taper is one of the experts on our Reawaken project right now on their platform.
Just barely an expert.
Just barely an expert. It's not like to call me an expert. And myself, Melissa, and then we're just coming together with different people, offering different programs, different things, depending on what you guys are needing in terms of exercise, health, mindset, all that stuff. But again, it's the whole concept that everything ties into everything. So it's holistic. We have to talk about all these different parts of oneself in order to really find the balance and, see what works for you. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just train the body. You got to train the mind with food, lifting, mindset, all that good stuff.
Yep. So that's why we're here. So I'm so excited. We love to do this. So get ready for lots of fun, lots of cool information. We like to cut through the bullshit a lot. We've seen everything. Greg and I have been in the fitness industry for years. I'm now transitioning into transformational coaching, but we've seen a lot of things, and we like to talk about, okay, why it's not working, what the mainstream is teaching. There's going to be a lot of humor in these conversations because we don't take ourselves so seriously, but we want to teach you. We want to talk about what works for us and what has worked for our clients and what we see a lot around in our community, all the great stuff. So we have a lot to share. So I'm excited. Yay. All right. So today's topic is, and we started with this one because that's a big one. We're going to be talking about why diets don't work and what's the problem behind those crazy programs, quick fix programs, diets, and why they basically set you up for failure constantly. And, we're going to give you guys a bit of background of what we mean by, health, because there's a big difference between weight loss and health. It's not the same, and it's not always equal. And the mindset behind that, and also give you guys a bit of ideas and solutions of what you can do to stop and get out of the cycle of like yo-yo dietings, because that's a big problem we've seen in the industry. So why diets are killing you. Okay, so that's the topic of today. Yay. So you want to start talking about diets and kind of like define what we mean when we talk about diets? And
yeah, basically, well, to me, because I don't know what anyone else is thinking, but you're restricting in some form. So either you're restricting a macro, so carbohydrates, protein, fat. You think one is bad, so you eliminate it, or you gradually decrease it. You're drastically cutting your calories, so you're not feeding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think?
That includes like fasting, like going like long periods without eating, fasting, or like juicing, where you're like really not getting, because a lot of times you'll get much less nutrients.
Yeah, you're eating a lot of green vegetables, so it's the bulk of the fiber and the greens, so you're feeling full, but you're not really getting a whole lot from it.
Yeah,
but it's like tricky. You're tricking yourself that you're actually eating a lot, but you're not.
Yeah, so when we talk about diets, like more like restrictive diets, is like you're either cutting out calories or cutting out like food groups completely, or like in big portion, or cutting out some types of macro, whether it's protein, fats, or carbs altogether, or like you're just cutting out energy. So you're spending hours without eating, skipping meals, things like that. Or you're replacing food with like non-food, like supplements or shakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, bars and
Yeah.
smoothie. Yeah.
So that's what we mean because we want to give you guys some context because I mean, dieting or way of dieting and nutrition could be confusing. But in this case, we're talking about restrictions and what's the problem behind that.
I would even say that people are dieting without even know they're dieting.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. We've
Yeah.
seen that a lot because we work with so many women, especially, and then they're not eating enough to start with. So there's a whole lot of conditioning that's happening in our society because especially for women, because we've been fed for so long, this like perfect body image and we need to eat very little to get to that. And that's a big problem. So we'll talk about a lot about this context behind that. But like, so let's talk about what's the problem with the diets, why it's not really working while you may think it works, and what's the actual long-term problem with that. And let's dive into this.
All right. That's one problem. Big problem. You're setting yourself up for long-term failure. Like you're sacrificing, you're damaging your metabolism. Even when you don't, and the bad thing is, well, you don't know you're damaging your metabolism or your health. You're putting your health in jeopardy, and you're doing it for, weight loss to look better, which is unfortunate. And then hopefully not so long of a time goes by that you realize what you're doing to yourself, and you can start by slowly nourishing yourself with foods.
So that's a huge problem because, okay, so let's demystify this myth like right away because we hear this all the time and there's a lot of people that come to us. It's like, oh, my doctor said I need to lose weight. There's a big problem because weight loss does not equal getting healthier most of the time. Okay, so yes, if you do it in a healthy way, it's good. But people think, oh, if I lose 30 pounds, I'll be healthier. It doesn't work like that. You have to become healthier in order to lose the 30 pounds because the extra weight is just a symptoms of an underlying metabolic problem. Like if you were healthy, you would have a healthy weight. So what we need to focus on is not weight loss. We need to focus on getting healthier. So then the weight drops, in a healthy way. So so we talk about weight loss and fat loss, which is, two different distinctions.
Yeah. What do you think would be best for people to do, like to know the difference between weight loss and fat loss and what they have to look for? And when you do lose weight, usually, like you said, it's when you are doing it in an unhealthy manner, you're not losing what they think they're losing.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that because I wanted to explain what happens with diets, first of all, in the body. So you guys understand that whenever you lose weight, so this is the problem. People think that diets or whatever programs they're on is working because, oh, I dropped 10 pounds, so it's working, I'm getting healthier. It's working in terms of losing the pounds. The problem is that it doesn't mean you're getting healthier. So here's the problem. Most of the times when you do it in a 2-1 drastic way, too restrictive way, not getting all your, macros, enough calories, things like that, restricting, what you're doing is you're restricting the energy coming into the body, like to very simplify that, and you're forcing the body to go into compensation. So when the body goes under compensation because it's not getting enough energy to function, it's basically allowing the stress hormones to kick in and you're functioning under stress. Now, the stress hormones will just basically find the energy within your body. So you'll break down your own body tissues in order to generate the energy you're not fueling your body. So this is what's happening. So to keep it really simple, when you're dieting, you're eating yourself up in order to produce the energy that you don't give your body so you can keep going. So the human body is an amazing machine because we have the capacity to go beyond our limits when we push through, right? So we can keep going. We don't just die. Like if you drive your car, you run out of gas, the car stops. The human body will keep going because we have the stress hormones that comes to the rescue and keeps us going. The problem is most of us, whether we do it on purpose or not, right, by dieting or by just keep going with throughout the day, like busy moms, like they don't eat, they just keep going. We start utilizing our stress hormones in order to produce energy because we don't have enough energy in the body. And this is when it becomes destructive. And this is when our metabolism starts slowing down because it can't keep up with the demand. And then, so now the problem is, here's what happens. people might lose the weight temporarily. So you have this instant or short-term gain, right? So, oh, I lost 30 pounds. This is great. But now your metabolism has dropped because you've been jeopardizing your health, and you've has so much out of your body, right? Not in a natural way, in a very like stressful way.
Yeah.
So now your metabolism is like, oh, you know, so if you go back to eating what you used to eat, which most people will after, because most of those diets are not, you can't sustain them for very long. They're awful. They're terrible. You know, you become cranky, crazy, you know.
Well, they're very low calorie. So
Yeah.
as soon as you add in them back in, you're going to, of course, gain weight. Yeah.
Yeah. And then because your metabolism now is slower. So it's like, oh, you know, so it's much easier to gain weight. And that's why this is what we like to explain to people. So what happens is sirens. We're in the city. Sorry, y'all.
What'd you do?
Oops. So what happens is people are like, oh my gosh, you know, this whole thing of like, I used to do Weight Watchers, for example, and I lost 30 pounds. And then the second time I went back, I lost 20 pounds. Now it's becoming harder and harder, because now you have to keep on dieting even more and exercising even more to keep the weight off, but then you're lowering metabolism as you go. So that is, even though diets might give you those quick, like, or those like, not so quick, but like short-term gains, like, oh, I lost 30 pounds. In the long term, you make it so much harder to keep the weight off. If we're just talking about the weight, not even the health, right? But it's also affecting your health and your metabolism greatly. So this is why diets are a big problem. And we also really want to make sure you guys understand that losing weight does not mean you're doing something healthy for your body. So it's not just at all costs, you know, oh, as long as I drop 30 pounds, I'll be healthier. It doesn't work like that. So of course, like, the problem with our society is the mindset of instant gratification. We've been sold this whole like, oh, I'll just drink that, I'll lose 30 pounds and I'll be okay. It doesn't work like that. We always have to pay for it later.
You see it everywhere on TV and Instagram. The fitness celebrities, they're all drink this detox tea or wear this waist slim trim thing and you'll be good to go in 10 days. Nothing but water, lemon, and an apple a day.
Yeah, it's great. Like, you see these people 30 days later or 3 months later to have amazing results. And then when you check them 5 years later, it's just what's going on.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about is that so first of all, diets are not only, you don't need them to maintain a healthy weight and or to lose weight, you don't need them. And second of all, they're actually hurting you because they're making your metabolism slower, your health worse. And over time, it's going to make it worse for you. You know what I mean? So it's damaging your system. So what's the right approach to, if somebody is like, hey, I do want to lose weight, I do have some weight to lose, I'm not comfortable in my body. You know, it is true that when we have extra weight on, it is a symptom, so we need to address it. But what we need to address is not the actual weight, is our metabolism, right? How can we heal the metabolism, improve energy in the body, fuel our cells what the body needs, as opposed to feeding our bodies like crap food with full of additives, right? Artificial ingredients and also empty calories. Like, you know, we're gonna talk about all that stuff like eventually. But so where do we start? Like, what's the best way to start? If
well, I would say you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're putting into your body and how often. So you can start by tracking, just to get an idea of where you currently sit. So then when you know where you are, then you know where you can go. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you use tracking as a way to create awareness, right? Because most people don't even know. It's like, oh, I eat so much food, and then they track and they're like, oh, 900 calories. Like, you're killing yourself. Okay, so first of all, tracking is a great tool. We use it like MyFitnessPal, whatever. You use it just to create some sort of awareness. Okay, how much protein, fats, and carbs am I getting? How much calories? How am I doing throughout the week? Am I going like 1,000 calories Monday to Friday? And then, and on Friday, you're like 3,000 calories because, right? We've seen this all the time. So,
I know. Well, and I want to say another common one is like 900 one day, and then the next day you're doing like 2,000, and then 1,500 the next. So a lot of fluctuations. Yeah. Roller
coasters. Right. Right. Well, a lot of it comes down to lack of preparation and knowing. Like, so the first thing is like, get some education on nutrition, because guys, it's not that hard. Once you know the right information, it's not hard. Like, we don't diet, we just eat healthy food. And actually our food is delicious. We eat like plenty of healthy sugars, like all the yummy stuff. We don't restrict, you know, but because we know. So knowledge is really important. Like, you do need to know. The next thing is, if you, like, without even knowing any of this, like the very basic things we can teach you, like right now we could tell you, is like, learn to regulate your blood sugar. So what we mean by this is that just give your body a constant amount of energy throughout the day. So eating frequently throughout the day, like smaller meals, things like that.
Starting with breakfast.
Starting with breakfast, thank you. Let's not skip breakfast. Eggs for breakfast.
Eggs for breakfast.
With fruits, right? Because you don't want to just like, you want to.
All three macros.
Yeah, you always want to make sure you're getting protein, fats, and carbs in each meal for the most part. Depends if it's post workout, but for the most part.
Cheese is not a carb.
Cheese?
Yeah, just so people know.
Oh shit. So protein, fats, and carbs, if you don't know, you can Google it. Like, now we have access to information. So yeah, eating frequently throughout the day. So managing those calories, like just even like making sure you don't get like 1,000 calorie breakfast and then 100 calorie snack, and you know what I mean? So it's kind of start evening out those calories throughout the days. Will help you regulate blood sugar. Now, again, combining those macronutrients. So protein, fats, and carbs. We say this all the time. It's so basics, but if you just do the basics, it's going to help you so much. The body, the way we utilize energy, is like, we do so much better when we combine all three macros together to make it like lasting longer in the body. So if you're going to be eating a snack like fruits, we recommend fruits. We love fruits. They're like pro-metabolic food. They're delicious, but fruits by themselves are not going to help you regulate blood sugar very long. So you want to pair them with proteins and fats. So that's just an example. And well, read the ingredients. Like, seriously, this is so basic. But one other thing that, unfortunately, and this is the thing, like, we just got to be aware of what's happening, because now in our world, it's like we have access to so many things. We are being bombarded so many options, and there's a lot of like false or misleading information out there, like marketing, right? It's like you find a box of food and it says organic on the box, but then you flip it around and there's a bunch of like additives, organic additives, whatever. But it's like, it doesn't mean because it says on the box it's wholesome, it's organic, or it's whatever, that it is necessarily good for you. So people I found all the time when we start working with clients, they'll read, oh, there's so much protein or so much sugar in it or whatever. It's like, look at the ingredients more than anything else. Like, yeah, it's important to know if there's X amount of proteins, fat, and carbs. But what's even more important that people are so oblivious about is what ingredients is this made of. If you can't read it or you don't know what that is, it's generally not a good sign. Yeah. So the less ingredients, the better. You know, ice cream is a great example, right? Because we recommend ice cream before bed. For most of our clients, it helps sleeping through the night, regulate blood sugar, has higher amount of sugar and fat, which regulates blood sugar.
Even for people who want to lose fat.
Yes. Yeah, because it's just how do you manage blood sugar and all that stuff. So but the problem is that you have brands that have a long list of ingredients, right? Even on ice cream, and then you have certain brands that we recommend that have 4 or 5 ingredients, and it's like eggs, cream, sugar, you know. So it's like, okay, so that's just common sense, but common sense isn't so common anymore. So,
I don't think it ever was.
I don't know. Good point.
I know I've talked to people in the past, and you have to become aware, because a lot of people, they're going shopping and they're still thinking of like other things, their day, what they have to do. Their mind's not turned on. They're just grabbing different boxes, or, you know, they're not thinking. So you got to make sure that you learn, like we said before, the basics, because when you learn, it gives you freedom, and you have your power. You have control over what you choose to do. So learn, and then slowly start to becoming aware. When you get the right food in you, your brain kind of turns on. You can think for yourself.
Yeah, all of a sudden you have energy. It's like, oh, right. because when you don't eat the right food, or you're not eating enough food, which is very frequent, oh my gosh, your brain gets foggy, you can't think, you're reactive, your mood, it's like you can't control yourself. So it's a really
Yeah.
good point you made, because we see this a lot with clients that are starting out. Learning about these things can be overwhelming if you go too fast but it's not. It's like anything, you got to go slow. You get to find the right people to help you through that process, and it's like one step at a time, because once like you said, it equals freedom. It's like you don't have to worry, which brand of yogurt to buy, which brand of this and that. And then it's like anything. When you went to school, you had to start somewhere, and then next thing you know, it's second nature. For us, it's easy because we've been doing it, but you have to, if you've never learned this, and unfortunately it's not part of our education system, if you never learn how to eat healthy or balance macros or all this stuff, I mean, it's like anything, you have to learn it.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here.
That's what we do for our clients,
Yeah.
We guide.
So like in a very general way, if you eat enough calories for what your body needs in terms of energy, and very generally speaking, anything under 1800 calories is like under eating, even for like a sedentary person. So what most women we see they're between like 1200 to 1400 calories, even lower sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we see this a lot, and they wonder why they're having a hard time dropping weight. It's so crazy, because a lot of times we have our clients increasing calories and they drop weight, because when you give the body what it needs, the stress response drop. And when you're not under stress, you don't have to hold on to all that weight, that inflammation and all of that. So it's so counterintuitive from what we've been conditioned to think.
Yeah.
But it really is the way it is. It's so simple. You give the body what it needs, and the body does its job as being healthy. So eating enough food, eating frequently, eating like wholesome, like, healthy, as closest to the source possible food with the least ingredients added to it.
Mm-hmm.
Balancing your protein, fats, and carbs throughout the day. Anything else you want to add that would help also simplify this process? I mean, obviously, just like as general guidelines for this conversation, but obviously, like, the whole coaching can help, because each person has specific things we need to work on, but we see this all the time. I mean,
I know this isn't really about dieting, but you have to consider your whole self, your whole, like, your work, your environment, your stressors, all that matters and will dictate, what you need throughout the day, food wise, and your thoughts. Yeah.
That's a really good one. Nutrition should be a tool to help you perform better, right? So it's like you fuel your body so your body can help you, do the things that you want to do. But so we need to consider when our nutrition based on what we want to do. So if you're going to have a very active, like busy or stressful day, your nutrition needs to be adapted to what you're going to be doing, right? So you might need to eat more and like stack up on food. And the days you're spending, like we said earlier, like watching Netflix in your bed, you might not need to eat as much, right? So it's like you need to learn how to play with your nutrition to adjust it to your needs. That's a big one.
Even people who like work in the office and they're using their eyes a lot, your eyes use glucose as, for energy.
Your brain.
You require a lot. Yeah. You need to fuel yourself just to be able to work and think and perform optimally.
Yeah, that's a misconception I see a lot. Like people say they're very sedentary, like sitting a lot while they're working, but meanwhile they're using a whole lot of brain fuel all day long. So it's just a different type of energy. You still need energy throughout the day. So
even sleeping, you require a lot of energy.
Yeah. So I think people, and for the most part, for what we've seen from our experience, people tend to underestimate how much their body needs energy. And the minute we start giving the body a little bit more, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I feel better. I can sleep through the night. I don't have cravings anymore. My symptoms go away. It's like, you're finally giving the body the building blocks that it needs in order to recover and function. Yeah, absolutely. So long story short, if you don't give the body what it needs, it's going to rely on stress in order to compensate. And that's like a recipe for disaster. You're like, especially in the long term, if you do this too often, too long. So like, let's forget about dieting, because it's only, you're only digging a bigger hole. Like, it's really not going to get you anywhere in the
It's
long
just
term.
more stress on top of the other stressors. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And it really, this is, yeah. So you go down the rabbit hole. It's really not a good, and then let's start thinking in terms of, okay, how can I fuel my body in a very positive way with the food that I enjoy, that are more like, natural, things like that, combining eating frequently throughout the day, feeling good, moving your body, getting some sunlight, getting good sleep. All these things are important, but just this by itself can make like a world of a difference for a person. And we've seen it, like someone goes on vacation for a week and they're all stressed out about gaining weight because they're not going to be working out, and they actually end up like releasing so much inflammation and losing weight because they're lowering the stress level. So the biggest thing is you want to look at is like, how much stress do you have?
Yeah.
So yeah,
probably because you're out in the sun too a lot. You're getting a lot of nice fresh air. You're moving. You're enjoying yourself. All that stress is gone. Stress creates dysfunction and disease.
That's it. Yay. So not eating is a stressor, restricting is a stressor. All these things are stressor. Eating the wrong types of food or skipping meals, all of these are stressors. So the whole idea is like, and this is what we start with our clients, is like, how can we reduce the stress to start with, and then start fueling the body with the right things, which includes fueling your body with the right thoughts also. And that's another part of the work, but we'll be talking about this a little later on. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I don't want to keep this too long, but I think that was fun because I think it's important to start explaining, a little bit of our philosophy and what we do and why, health is not complicated. It's not always easy because sometimes we have to unlearn what we thought we knew. But if you're open and you're ready, it's not complicated. It's so simple, and it can be delicious. It can be fun. It should be, right? If it's not, you're missing the whole point.
Yeah, getting back to enjoying food again, Stop worrying about every little thing.
Chocolate milk.
Oh.
Yeah, always like fueling my body. So yeah, so that's it, guys. It's real simple. I hope you like enjoyed this little episode. Let us know if you have any questions. If you'd like for us to talk about any topics that you're curious about, we already have a list of things we want to discuss, but we are open to your feedback. We would like to hear from you. Yeah. And if you start implementing some of the solutions and strategies we were talking about, let us know how you're doing.
Want to give a little quick recap?
Again? Sure. Diets don't work. It's killing you. Right? So that's number one. It might work in the short term in terms of losing weight, but it actually hurts your metabolism and your health, right? Yeah. So we need to get out of the mindset of like quick fixes. That never works. It always backfires. So you need to think about the journey, the healthy lifestyle. It's a journey, okay? It never stops. The minute you stop eating well, you lose the results. Same thing with training. So how can you live differently to balance all these things? And then lastly, in order to stop, going the diet route and start really implementing more balance into your nutrition and your lifestyle, it's just like thinking about making sure you're eating enough calories throughout the day to meet the demands on the body, depending on how much stress or activity levels that you have. Tracking your food will help a lot to give you an idea of how much you're really eating, because a lot of times if we're disembodied and if we've never done this and, we've never learned how to be in touch with ourselves, like we have no idea at first. So tracking really helps us kind of like getting an idea. Obviously, we can never recommend enough to work with a coach or people that have done it to expedite your process, but that's the next level if you're ready for that. And then, eating frequently throughout the day, not skipping breakfast, not skipping any meals, always combining protein, fats, and carbs, trying to pick some foods that are as closest as possible to the source without any additives or artificial ingredients. We're going to talk a little bit more about what kind of food we recommend in some of the future episodes. But for now, it's like, if you learn to regulate blood sugar by always giving a little bit of energy to your body from morning to night, and this whole idea of like not eating after 6 p.m. is a myth. So yes, you can have a snack before bed. You're not going to gain weight. It actually might help you lose weight for the most part.
I don't know. Last time I had something at 6:01 and I felt like
you were going to die.
Yeah, something happened.
No, so like we need to really start debunking all that stuff because it's really hurting us. And lastly, it's like eating healthy and being healthy should be enjoyable. It should be fun. If you're suffering and you're restricting and it's like you're having the wrong approach behind it, I'm doing this because I hate my body. Like you're causing more stress. You're not going anywhere. This is really, we need to take a pause and start rethinking. I get to eat healthy food as opposed to, oh, I have to eat this. You know what I mean? So like really get to rethink the whole way. So it takes a little bit of like, hey, let's take a pause and let's start reflecting on my approach with food, right? So
yeah, I like looking at it from this perspective. If you're looking to be healthy and fit, have a great body for the rest of your life, why do you think you could do that by doing something temporary with restrictive, being restrictive and dieting? That's short term, because you can't do that for life. So it doesn't make sense. The methods that you're going about trying to achieve being healthy and fit, it's not, looking at it like that, it just doesn't make sense.
It never pays off. It's always worse in the long term. It's always worse. So let's get out of this like hamster wheel and let's start getting some serious results. And people think it takes longer to do it this way, but not necessarily. We've seen like people really shifting really, really fast, because when you start giving the body what it needs in order to be healthy, the body does its job. And
does it really take longer when you have to diet?
No, it doesn't, because the problem is when you diet, you go backwards. You think you're making progress because you might drop 20 pounds on the scale, but then in reality, you can't sustain it. Then you go back, you gain more weight, then you feel more miserable. So it's very vicious. So we do want to get.
Oprah's been dieting for like over 40 years. That's pretty long.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot. People dieting. So, but the good news also, I do want to say that, because there might be some people that are listening that have been on the diet wheel for a very long time and feel like there's nothing, like they don't have hope too much because they've tried so many things. They don't know who to believe. Like, I get it. I totally understand. The good news is it's never too late to improve your health, to increase your metabolism, to make your life better, to take control of your life. It's never too late. We've seen like 80-year-old like starting to build muscles, and like we've seen, you can't tell me you're too old or you're too this or you're too that. You can always make your situation better. So if you don't know how, you don't know where to start, reach out to us. We can help you. We'd love to help you. Metabolism is something that, yes, you can improve. With the right types of food, the right coaching and all that, we could do that. And it's not hard. It just requires discipline and work, but everyone can do it. Yeah. Everyone can do it. All right, cool, Greg. Thank you so much for
Don't say.
like Don Quiche. Okay, we're gonna have another episode soon, guys, so stay tuned. We hope you enjoy it. And once again, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, let us know. We'd love to help you out. Mwah! Much love.
Bye for now.